I've often thought about what would the perfect player look like.
It might play the game in a completely different way from the way that we play it.
As a chess player, you want to know more about chess, you want to get deeper, and there is so much still to learn.
AlphaZero played a match against Stockfish, which was the strongest computer that we all knew, and it won the match.
And all of a sudden I thought, wow,
does this really work? How does it know how to do it?
I started thinking, it's quite interesting, and there's just a couple of games that went bang.
And these were very exciting games, very attacking games, giving pawns away right at the early stages of the game. The other computers were thinking, well, that's too early.
AlphaZero doesn't have any rules. It learns through experience.
Really didn't think there was room for this huge attacking style, never in my wildest dreams.
There's even more depth than we thought in chess.
It's like discovering the secret notebooks of some great player from the past.
It explains AlphaZero's strategies.
How does AlphaZero think? AlphaZero blows apart what traditional engines are doing.
Hello everyone, welcome back to this stream.
Which is the championship round 8 of 9. So the penultimate round, the last round will be tomorrow.
Exactly. So we've got an exciting round for you here today. We have on board one, Michael Adams against Matthew Wadsworth. Michael Adams, sole leader on 6 points, closely followed by Matthew Turner on 5.5, and then a group of players on 5. That's Matthew Wadsworth, Ameet Ghasi, Tristan Cox, who we've come to know as Rock Troll, a qualifier who's been playing incredibly well in the tournament, and also GM Daniel Fernandez. And then just a little bit further back on 4.5, we have Harry Grieve, Ismail Mohammed Ayan, and Bogdan Lalic, Grandmaster Bogdan Lalic. Should be some good fun games today. One funny thing, as Natasha pointed out earlier, is that there's a game, Matthew Turner against Harry Grieve, and they actually played each other in the Rapid this morning. And again, Harry was white and Matthew was black. So will be interesting.
It's the second game of the day, and the first game was a Trompovsky, wasn't it? And it was a quick draw, a theoretical draw, although Matthew, not before Matthew as black, had got his king out as far as d6.
Indeed. So it was all quite interesting. So it'd be interesting to see whether we get something like this, or whether they were keeping their powder dry for the afternoon. I guess
I'd be surprised if we saw exactly the same from them.
It would be a bit strange, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's in principle, both players really need a win. Matthew Turner, obviously a win is probably what's really required to keep up with Michael Adams. At least to put some pressure on him a little bit, and for Harry 4.5. Yeah, I mean 5.5 is going to be much closer to the top places. So I think a lot of players here who really need wins to keep going. A bit lower, we've got Mark Hebden. He's black against Zoe Varney, which will be an interesting one. We've got qualifier Peter Finn against Gregor Totsheck, another qualifier, I think, in fact. And what else we got? Oh, Julia Volovic is back attack.
Tom Villiers.
So that should be a good one to watch there. And we've got some other interesting games. Junior Jude Shirsby black against Alex Goss, and young junior Tashika Aurora black against Chris Finn, brother of Peter. So and we also got Thomas Wills against Oscar Idle. Again, 2 qualifiers now playing against each other. So should be plenty of stuff going on. Now I think we've got another.
It's just started raining. I can hear kind of rain outside. We're going to have a cold snap soon. They're talking about the next beast from the east.
Indeed. That's
But luckily, we're all safely cozy inside watching the Caplin British Online Chess Championships.
There is nothing better that you could be doing at this moment.
Indeed.
So, yeah. So let's have a look. Another couple of minutes. Let me just share my screen, get that over and done with, and then we should be.
Happy New Year, Caroline. Hi, Mark. You were away at the end of the previous stream. Do you know? I'm going to say I didn't know. No, that's terrible. I didn't notice for a moment, but I definitely noticed you were there at the start of the stream earlier on. And the streams are pretty close together today, so that's it's understandable if you miss a minute or two. But I'm glad you're on time for this stream.
Oh dear, it's let me just put the screen on like that.
Ah, you're in the Lake District. How beautiful. I guess you go out in the rain, though. You wouldn't mind. You could have a lovely long walk in the rain in the lakes. Presumably you're allowed to go out and walk at the moment. That sort of thing's fine. I mean, you're not allowed from the point of view there's a chess stream on at the moment, obviously, but after that.
Right, just adjusting the screen. I think that's looking pretty good. Okay. Right, just get my database up and going. Okay, we're ready to go, ready to roll. Should be quite a good one, this. Matthew Wadsworth, very tough player, very good defensive player. Yeah, always difficult to beat, but Mickey with white is obviously a pretty tough proposition. I'm not quite sure what happened actually in Mickey's game against Daniel Fernandez. That's from last year actually, but he was a pawn up. I suspect a misclick in actual fact that he put his rook onto a5 rather than a4,
yes.
and lost a pawn rather than defended it. It was a little bit strange, but anyway, despite that, he's still half a point clear. So okay.
Well, that's a shame. Yeah, because it's a lovely area there where you're living. I hope you get a nice view anyway.
Oh, okay. We're starting. The games are coming up here. Starting with Grieve against. Indeed, it was D4 this morning, but it's E4 this afternoon.
Oh, he's changed systems. Not too surprising.
So E4, E5. Yeah, Matty Turner. He used to play a lot of weird stuff like moderns and also Sicilian as well. But here he's sticking with one E4, E5.
I think he can play a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, no, he definitely can. That's. I'm just having a quick look to see whether Michael Adams is turning up, and actually, I seem to remember that that I didn't actually always see Michael Adams. So let me just. I think that was one I needed an extra command for.
Okay.
So. It's GM Mickey Adams, isn't it, I think?
Yes, with the E.
There he is, indeed.
Okay.
So we've got slightly unusual, E4, C5, Knight F3, E6, B3. I've actually played this with White. Quite a decent system. And just a little bit unusual, and force black to think a little bit from the first move, which is always a good idea.
Is Matthew Wadsworth a theoretical player, would you say?
Not really, not excessively. You know, I mean, with White he plays quite solid systems, really. But in general, he knows his own stuff quite well. You know, I think that's the thing. Some players are, really theoretical. They play the sharpest lines and they know lots about everything. I wouldn't say that was Matthew, but his stuff the stuff that he plays, he does know quite well. So playing D5 here, interesting. In a way, against a move like B3, Knight F6 is a very natural reaction. attacking the pawn on e5, forcing it to move forwards, and thus blocking this diagonal. But Matthew playing very simply there, just takes, occupying the center, and then White is going to play, at some stage, White is going to play d4, and we're going to get some sort of IQP position, I think. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look at horsey chess against Mark Hebden. So this is quite interesting, actually. This is Zoe's done this before. We've seen games of Zoe. You've had a game with Zoe in this, haven't you, Natasha?
I certainly have, yes. My game with Zoe, we got we got all this stuff. We got c6.
Yeah, but
and she played c6 takes, and she did a queen f3 early on,
indeed.
Which is interesting line.
Yeah, you played c6 there. Mark's played the rather unusual bishop d7. Although I think I've seen Mark doing this before. I think he's done this before, but it's a rather unusual line. Queen e2, and then bishop e7. So I'm just going to have a quick look to see how many people have played this. I think I'm pretty sure I've seen Mark doing this before, but bishop d7. I'm just wondering whether there's been some games recently by strong players. Well, not really, actually. I mean, there's a guy called Posny, Israeli grandmaster, who's played this, but not that many people. So queen e2 is quite normal, and then bishop d6 actually is the most common move. Bishop e7 is the second most common move, so quite normal. And it'd be interesting to see whether Zoe knows this, because it really is not normal, this one. So it could easily be something that you've actually never seen. So what's the normal reply? Well, normally knight c3 is a very normal move here, and let's have a look. After bishop e7, knight c3. Knight c3 is normal, just protecting the pawn on d5, and then black normally castles here. And white probably castles as well, I guess. Castles is quite normal. And then black plays bishop takes b5. Oh, good lord. Castles. And then bishop takes b5, queen takes b5. It's all quite interesting. I think I need to bring up an analysis board there, don't I? I think that's what I was getting carried away there. So bishop e7. So knight c3, defending the pawn on d5, castles, and then bishop b5 has been played. Also bishop g4. I think something like this. I could imagine Mark playing something like bishop g4. He likes this sort of stuff. Queen takes e5, a6. I mean, in general, followed by bishop d6. In general, quite good results for white, I have to say. An awful lot of white wins I'm seeing, but well, we'll see. Johnny Hector has played this. He's a very big all-out hacking player with black with 1e5, plays a lot of strange systems. So actually it's going to be very interesting, but it's going to be very interesting to see what Mark's got prepared, because Mark's always got interesting stuff done. And he's gone castles here, indeed, knight c3.
Mark has a question about
I've seen it, yes.
Do you seen it on Chess Space and Prepare Against? That would be something, I guess, is very widely used by people as they prepare for their opponents.
Yeah, I think that's probably the thing that people use most. I think it's quite handy. Yeah, it's quite handy. I mean, you just get a list, a tree of all the games that players have played. So yeah, no, I mean that's used an awful lot. I think if there's one feature some people know, about chess base, then it's that one. I think. Knight d5. I don't think so. You never know. Knight d5 here. That would have been a little bit. So I go knight takes d5 here. And if you go bishop g5, I go queen takes e5 check, which will probably be a bit annoying. But you could, I suppose, take on b5, queen b5, and go c6. That would be possible. It's very confusing.
Got 3 pieces hanging.
Interesting. Can we do it in a different way?
You take on f7.
Well, I mean, I take there. I'm a piece down now, so I need to
drop back to what would you do?
It's always the same trick, right? I mean, we're always doing this and then c6. So that's very interesting, Mark. I'm not quite sure actually. I'm just going to have a quick look to see whether it's been played before. Knight d5. It's been played in one game. Though, okay, well, it's been played in one game. In that game, White knight d5, bishop b5. White played queen takes e5. That might be. That looks. That could be. I've got quite a few threats there. That could be quite dangerous. That one. If I go something like knight c6, I can probably just go knight c7, then take this one, and I'm probably going to emerge better. But that was a very cunning trick, Mark. That was very nice. Oh, good lord! Diamond Alt against Luck is my skill. A draw.
Oh.
Ready in 6 moves. That was
Really?
unexpected. That was very unexpected.
Yeah.
6
moves.
6 moves. There we are.
So are they maybe friends?
Could be. I don't know. But this is Harry Grieve, Matthew Turner. So a Scotch. Harry Grieve went for a Scotch 4 knights, and well, this is a pretty. Actually, Matthew Turner played a very unusual line of the against the Scotch. So, I mean, bishop c5, knight f6, all of these things are normal. But he played d6, simply. And after knight c6, I've virtually never seen this. And, I mean, often you'd normally expect White to maybe play knight c3, bishop e3, that sort of stuff. But White played it quietly with takes, knight f6, castles, bishop e7. So we've got a pretty standard 1e4 line. But, yeah, very unusual against the Scotch there. Looks like Matthew was trying to avoid any quick liquidation and just get some sort of normal position there. Ameet Ghasi against Rock Troll. So this is quite a normal position. This from Rock Troll is not very normal. Queen c8, and Ameet. This from Ameet is also not quite normal. You don't normally put your rook on c1 in these positions, but if the queen's on the c file, then putting the rook opposite it is not such a bad idea.
This is very like the stuff Ramirez did a video on the Reti.
Indeed, yes, it's exactly that variation. Indeed,
exactly that. Very good video. If you're into this line, it's a really nice video to watch. Ramirez the Reti. We've
got checkmate a lot against Welsh Tiger. So this is a Philidor where Black's played b6. He's going to play a6 and bishop b7 and then gradually try to expand with b5. Yeah, not a bad system. It's there we are. He's gone a6. It's a little bit solid, a little bit dull in some ways, but not too bad either. Let's have a look. What is knight f3 played by Zoe. Very sensible move, actually, just getting the knight out of its exposed space on f3 and attacking the pawn on e4. Question is, can you do something? Well, what can black do here?
You do anything on the king file?
Well, bishop g4 is a possibility. E4 is a possibility as well. What else? Obviously, bishop b5 might be possible. I suppose the most tempting thing would be to go e4. E4 here. So, and if bishop d7, I go e takes f3. So that's obviously not very good. You can go. You can move this knight, but yeah, knight e4 looks sensible. And now I can go knight e4, then you take on d7. I'd like to have something. I mean, I could take on f2. That would be possible. King f2, queen d7. That doesn't actually look too bad for black. I mean, yeah, I mean, that looks quite possible. You could also do this one, which is quite interesting. Takes, check, and here. And, well, the king will have to move either to d1 or to f1. Maybe d1 feels a little bit more natural. And then we'll go a6 probably. You might find it a bit hard. I mean, you can go queen d3. But maybe I go queen d7 or b5 maybe. A bit hard for white to develop there. You know, I mean, in general, this is quite easy, really. So so e4 seems quite tempting. Yeah, white could go back to g5. It's a bit of a shame, really. Something like knight e5 maybe. But I don't know, I could take, queen takes. This knight's a little bit annoying. I could go c6. Takes and takes. Multiple pawn sacrifices. Yeah, I mean, you get these lines quite often. Knight e5. I could also just play a move like bishop f5, I suppose. Just try and leave this bishop hanging in the air, and I'm going to try and go a6 and b5 maybe. That could also be quite interesting. Also got bishop d6 coming in. Interesting. Intrigued to know what Mark's going to do there. I mean, bishop d6 also would not be crazy either. You know, just bishop d6, and then you know, we're just going to try and get an e4 later. That would also be
it's funny, isn't it? That so the delaying c6, because normally you'd have played that ages ago, and that d pawn is now kind of stopping the knight going anywhere. So you still want to do c6, I think, at some point.
Yeah,
I do like playing along the e file, I must say.
I guess the idea of not playing c6 is to try and capture this d pawn later. You know, so I'm not sure that the idea will be to play c6 necessarily. But yeah, I think you just want to keep.
You just move the bishop out of the way, perhaps, and
I mean, something like that. I mean, bishop g4 would also be a possibility. You know, I'm wondering a little bit about h3. You know, what maybe you play the bishop back to h5. I don't know. But yeah,
just take on f3.
Yeah, you could do. I take. I mean, you could do something like maybe a6.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I'm not 100% thrilled with it, really. You know, I mean, just b5, I go a3. I just have the feeling that, you know, in that sort of position, if I win the pawn back, then I've just you know, there's just white still got the two bishops, really. So I've only got equality at most, really.
True. Right, Stubbs, board 11. Stubbs v Evans has a queen sacrifice in it.
That's Unagi, isn't it? I think.
That is Harry Evans.
Oh, good lord! Oh my goodness me! This is a no trick. It's well worth knowing actually, but it's a slightly. It's actually known from the Torre, funnily enough, and this is London system. So somehow this is cropped up, but it's well worth knowing this trick. So knight takes d7. It's already forced now. Takes, and we go dc. Completely wrong, but then we go check, takes queen h5 here, and knight e4, and unpleasant pin here, and the knight's coming here with tempo.
Oh,
now,
gosh.
I do believe that there've been quite a few games with this, and I think that White even lost one once in this line, but it should be this should be very, very strong.
It looks just winning.
Sorry,
it looks just winning for White.
Well, I mean, you can just play. Oh God, heaven's sake! You can just play.
Depend on the attack.
No, but you can just play rook d8, you know, and get out. So I mean, it's not like there's immediate mate there. But this is actually very, very, this is very dangerous. I mean, and there've been a number of there have been games with this, and in principle, White should be better. But actually, Black here decided to go Queen d3 and then e4, and didn't dare play Rook fd8 now, and that's probably reasonable because I think after. We'll go Rook d1. We'll get our Rook over to the third rank. I think this is going to be very unpleasant. So Black actually just gave up the Queen with Queen takes e4 and now Knight e4 d and castles. But yeah, this is a known trick and a very nice one. I mean, it's really I mean, there seems to be a very logical play from Black, and you're simply fighting for the e5 square, and White starts off with exchanges and then exchanges again, and you just think, well, I mean, I'm just getting everything I want here, and d takes e5, giving up the center as well, and then this one hits you, and the first thing is you look at a Black like he's crazy because what could this be? But it's all about this point, this knight e4 with this pin, and you're getting into g5, and yeah, you've actually swapped off all the defending pieces on the king side. So it's a well-known trick. It's been played quite a few times already I think from the Torre mainly, but yeah, this is just transposed. Fantastic. Let's have a look. We've got Katarzyna Toma against Jem Gerner, man from Jersey. And we're looking, White's got a little edge here. 2 bishops, and quite nicely placed pieces. I'm not quite sure what White's going to do. Maybe b4. It's possible. Just stop bishop c5, or you could go knight c4 first to get a square on d6. No, just looking quite nice. Bergerac,
Jersey.
Ah, indeed. Now we've got Hackattack. Oh no, we've got Julia Volovic against Hackattack. So Hackattack, Thomas Villiers, living up to his name here, already setting up quite an aggressive structure.
Of course he is. Yeah.
White's got the 2 bishops, and in principle quite a nice grip on this square. So yeah, I mean it's in principle White's doing very reasonably, and b4 would be a very natural move to play now, just to come up with bishop b2, and also to try and chase away the Black Knight with b5.
Now, of course, we sent Tom Villiers on to tilt a bit by showing off his very amazing game where he sacrificed his queen and delivered mate. And then the following game, he was up against Rock Troll and decided to sacrifice everything again. But that time it didn't work so well. So let's see if he's really going for it today, or if he plays a little bit more cautiously.
Or maybe he's made a New Year's resolution to not sacrifice anything.
Not sacrifice. I think he'll still sacrifice.
So this one, Thomas Wills against Oscar Idle, is quite interesting. This is so this system with 3 knight f6 was recommended by the Indian Super Grandmaster Vidit in a DVD for Chess Base, and he recommended this line e5 knight e4, and very interesting, very sharp. But a little while ago, a guy called Larry Kaufman, Grandmaster, world senior champion, I think in 2008, and also the programmer, co-programmer of the Komodo engine, and also an extremely strong shogi player. I think one of the strongest shogi players. He certainly was the strongest shogi player in America for quite a while. So he wrote a book called Larry Kaufman's Opening Repertoire for White, in which he'd done some analysis with Komodo engine and also with Lila Zero, and they had both come up with this line: knight g3, c5, bishop d3. This was all known, but after knight takes g3, the idea was to go f takes g3 and open up the f file.
Okay. So
And
he's
this-
a bit of a hacker.
Yeah, well, his computers were, in all fairness. So, yeah, so this has actually scored very well in human chess, and it also scored 2 wins for White in a Lila Zero Stockfish match. So it's yeah, I mean, it's actually very interesting. It's been scoring very, very well. So interesting to see what Oscar has got ready for it. So h6, that stops knight g5, which is a pretty good idea. Oscar not taking on d4, g4, bishop d7, and c3. So yeah, interesting to see what happens there. Interesting to see whether are you actually able to take this pawn on d4. So it would be a little bit risky, I think. Takes, knight takes d4.
B3.
Bishop b3. Now you don't want to do knight f3 because queen f3 hits the pawn on f7. Just a question that I wondered was whether you could go bishop c5 actually. That would be the one. So you're threatening this discovered attack, and there's nothing amazing for White to do here. So
You can just like move your king out the way.
yeah, you can do that. But then I don't know, I can go something, for example, like knight c6, for example, and I've won my pawn basically, and I've escaped.
Yes.
So I actually think, yeah, that actually doesn't look too bad at all for black. You don't normally play c3. You normally the idea is just that you let black capture that one. And if you do something, you play a3 and b4, and then just play around that pawn. So yeah, that's interesting. Interesting to see what Oscar does there. I think c takes d4 is quite looks quite reasonable. I mean, of course, White could just play a move like king h1. And
He's gone. Is that c3 played? That's analysis.
That c3 was played, yeah. That's why, that's why we were looking at it. We were looking at c takes d4 there.
Yes.
So I mean, king h1 is possible. I mean, this is it looks a bit ropey for White with the pawn structure, but on the other hand, you've really got to ask yourself, where is Black going to put the king? Which is a little bit of a problem since you've opened this b file with the rook there. So that could be interesting as well. Just don't take the pawn back. Just king out of the way, and just and just see what Black's got. It's quite aggressive, but it's been very, very dangerous indeed for Black in recent games. This is Alex Goss against Jude Shirsby. A little bit of an edge, I suppose, for White. A little bit more space, but early days yet in this perk. We've got Chess Queen 960, Tashika Aurora against Let Me Think. And Black has sacrificed a pawn already and hoping for some pressure against b2. Yeah, I mean, Castle's queenside looks quite, looks sort of a reasonable reaction there. Certainly the easiest way to defend b2. I suppose you could also just go a move like Queen C2, and just hold it. That would also be possible.
If castle's queenside, bishop f5 looks really tempting to me. And just kind of box looking in.
Oops, knight b5, queen b6. Our castles has been played. So we will see whether Chris Fink also plays Natasha's move there and goes bishop f5. So I guess something like queen a4 probably. Then we'll try and play maybe e4 and block things in. The compensation for black, but whether it's full compensation, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But definitely these things, can be a lot easier for black to play than white, simply because you develop your pieces, and white's the one who's got to worry about the king. So let's have a look. What's happening here? Oh, now Matthew Wadsworth offering a pawn sacrifice there.
Okay. Oh, on G7.
So, on G7 here. If we take, I think this is known actually. I'll have a little look at the theory, but we can take here. Take here and go bishop e5. The idea being that if bishop h3, I go bishop g3. And I believe the idea is, if I'm remembering right, is takes, bishop h3, which looks tempting, is met by queen h5. And bishop g2 is met by queen f7 mate.
Ooh.
Let me just check whether this is as I'm remembering it, because you never know. It's been a very long time since I've seen this. Bishop b2, knight e7. What does theory have for us? Bishop g7 has been played in a game. And indeed, bishop e5 was played, but and there black actually played bishop g4, which is quite, which led to quite a complicated game after here. But I mean, white is under a little bit of pressure somehow. It's it wouldn't be very normal really for Mickey to take on g7. I think.
I wouldn't think that's exactly his style.
No. I think he'd play something like d4 normally and just get us back into an IQP. But I was going to say, but at least he's made Matthew think in the opening. But if you look at the clock times, Mickey's on 44 and Matthew's on 49. So he's actually
made himself think too.
made himself think a little bit there. So and let's have a look. We got look at this! What a nice idea. So he might well be a Fischer fan. I think he's an Alpha Zero fan as well.
Oh.
Because castles went h5.
Very nice.
Which I think is a very good idea, actually. e4, h4, knight e2, h3. Excellent.
Very nice. Yes.
Yeah, this pawn's quite annoying for white. It just makes any positions that get opened, it just makes them slightly difficult for white, because he's always got a problem with his king. His king can't move. The back rank's weak, and in an ending, a pawn on the pawn is quite close to queening the h3 pawn, and the h2 pawn can be a target. So very nice. I mean, you should just put the pawn there and then just keep on playing normally. So should be very interesting. This could be a very interesting game, this one. How many boards have we got up here? Oh, wait a minute. This one's black's resigned in this game.
It's just the queen. The trick, yes. The opening trick.
I'm not surprised. I think you just got to chalk it down to a trick that caught you out, and that hopefully you'll never fall for again. So 2 games finished already. Diamond Ores against Lucky's My Skill, and Unagi 5 against Hasban. Let's go through. And Hasban is playing already another game. So
can't get enough chess. Maybe he's practicing for the bullet tonight.
Well, 5-minute chess is not good practice for bullet. The only good practice for bullet. Well, have you played Hyper Bullet ever?
I don't even know what it is, actually.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
I've never even played 1 minute.
Yeah, and there's an amazing guy called Andrew Tang, Penguin GM, and his speciality is blindfold hyperbullet. So he plays blindfold games with 30 seconds on his clock. And
How do you do it blindfold?
Oh, you can do it. You just don't see the pieces on the board.
Yeah. So you have to, maybe that makes you quicker. If you just have to say the move rather than.
No, you don't say it. You move it. You move it on the board. You just have an empty board in blindfold, and then you just. So he's doing that with 30 seconds. I can tell you, it's not easy. I actually, it's one of those things that I actually wonder how on earth is it possible, you know. And there aren't many things in chess that I sort of think, you know, oh, I don't think I could do that, but that's definitely one of them. It's there's videos of him on YouTube, well worth watching. It's just it's an incredible mental feat, I have to say.
Yeah. So the Polgar sisters, not sure I heard, but you trained a lot just playing blindfold chess against each other. I guess it really does help you improve your visualization of what's going to happen next.
Yeah, it is very handy to be able to visualize the board just like that, and yeah, I mean, it helps for calculation, I think. I'm not quite sure whether this is a good yeah, okay. Test of reaction times. Yeah, I mean, I can't do it. I can't do hyperbolic. It's just.
I've never tried it, but I know I can't do it.
I can't just make moves. I can't abandon it so much. I mean, bullets, I can just about do, but I get to about. What am I on live chess? I'm 2600 or something, which is not very good. But you know, I mean, it's vaguely respectable. But hyperbolic, I just couldn't. I couldn't get into it at all. But when you see something like that, it's very impressive. This game of Ameet Ghasi is against Rock Troll. It's very interesting, actually. So Ameet played G4 to gain space on the king side, and Rock Troll hit back like a Rock Troll, and went with F5. So we've got a real fight on our hands here. But Ameet is playing Bishop H3 here. I actually have the bad feeling that. Hey, Jessica.
How are you doing? You had a very quick game today.
I have the bad feeling that that there's going to be a sacrifice on F5, just like Rock Troll's game against Thomas Villiers, but this might be a slightly stronger one. Yeah, how do we defend F5? I think if we go G6, then Knight H4 is going to be huge. You know, I mean, it's going to be absolutely massive. So G6 Knight H4, because I don't really know where you put your pieces, and E4 is coming in as well. So I think the best way to do it is Knight G4. So we block that diagonal, and the bishop on E7 is stopping Knight H4. So
you mean you don't know him? Not that you're not his friend. I'm assuming. Do you know what happened then with the draw?
So Knight G4, and now what is White going to do? I mean, the most obvious move for White here is to play E4 and just undermine this pawn and then undermine this knight. And well, we've got to have something. We've got to have something there. Otherwise, we're just completely dead. And I don't know. I'm not sure at all what Black can do here. I mean, Knight F5 is a really big threat here. And F takes E4, we go Queen takes E4, and this one's dead in the water. So I think this is really, really awkward for Tristan.
Yeah. Well, he'll have to just go forwards somehow.
Maybe we can go, I know, Knight B4, we go Knight F5, and we've got this double attack here. Really, yeah, it's looking bad for Tristan there. B unit on the defensive. Okay, I don't actually have B unit. I thought I was missing somebody. Let me just... B unit. That is a great handle. I really think that's. I think he came up with it himself, didn't he, Bogdan? Because he was talking about all the traveling that he was doing, and the grind and everything, and and he just called himself a B unit at some moment. But it was actually pretty good.
Sorry, Matthew. Yeah,
So,
and he'll take the square traveling. So he'll go by coach. If there's a coach or a train or whatever, he'll calculate all the routes. But he can do he could do 5 tournaments in a row in Europe, and he'd even like walk 20 miles or whatever. He's and then he tells all the stories on Facebook, and there's always all these incidents happening. So he has quite a few stories.
I haven't seen it this year, but he always used to do a yearly summary of how many kilometers he traveled, and it was always and how much by bus and everything, and it was always something extraordinary. It really was, So this is Tom O'Gorman against Bogdan. It's been a Torre, and we've got to this. Quite an interesting one. There's definitely some sensitive squares around here that you're kind of interested in testing out with a sacrifice somehow, but it probably doesn't. Pardon me. It probably doesn't work.
So if knight f7, you mean you can't go queen f7?
Indeed, I mean there's you can't go queen f7 for a couple of reasons actually, which makes it probably even more unlikely than anyone would do it. Either bishop g6 or knight d6 check. But yeah, king f7. I mean, you'll find knight e5. You go king g8, and you're sort of escaping. I mean, I'd be very tempted here with white to play castles queenside, I have to say. Although you do have to watch out for this this c file, of course. But I mean, I think you're quick enough, and you can play king b1, and then because where is black going to put his king here? I mean, if whilst you're the queen side is not great. I mean, there's not very many pieces there, and of course, if you castle king side, then I'm already attacking this pawn. I can go queen d2 and rook h6, this sort of stuff. So I think castling queen side would be a very tempting thing to do there. I think Walterman, that you're right. I think Bogdan is Oh, there we are. We've had it. Have we had it? No, we haven't. Sorry. No, yes, I'm done. Sorry, I was getting carried away.
That's analysis,
in my own analysis, but
actually, that did look quite promising in a way.
Yes, I think castles. I mean, I think black would go bishop d7 probably. After castles, you probably go bishop d7, but then I think we just go we go king b1, and if you go rook c8, I go queen b3 probably. Or queen d2 maybe just queen d2 as well, and just ask the question, where is this guy going to go? It really is a very difficult question to answer, really. So you
don't need to give away all your pieces first.
Indeed. So I mean, it's looking quite good for Tom O'Gorman there. So I mean, he's a strong player. So there's a guy on Twitch called C Complex. That is indeed just as good as B unit. Maybe that's when Bogdan gets an upgrade, he'll become C complex somehow. That's
maybe it is Bogdan. Who knows?
Could be. Oh, look at that! Oh, that's very interesting. White let black take on G2 there, and has played F4. This is a really wild one. This one. Going to be very interesting to see how white is going to try and make this. Is white going to play F5 here? Or I think you would really expect white to play F5 here. But there's... I mean, D5 is quite interesting then for black. It's a very sharp position, this one, incredibly sharp. So, going to be interesting to keep an eye on that one. Mickey Adams against Wadsworth. Mickey took it! Wow, Mickey.
I didn't think he would.
Yeah, I thought he'd just carry on quietly with D4, to be honest. But I mean, this reminds me a lot of Mark Hebden's game against was it Jem Gurner, where in a sort of a Trompovsky he took a pawn like this, and it really turned out not very well for him, for Mark. Mark won it in the end, but I must say I would be a bit nervous about this, unless Mickey's got a concrete way of playing. I can't believe Mickey's done this.
It looks like the G file's got a lot of pieces on it. At least it doesn't look like it's about to be. It looks to me like it's about to be opened up.
Well, we're going to play F5. That's the problem. Then F4. So, you can't block it forever simply. So it's this might be decent for white, but I'm just intrigued just to see what my engines give on this. Just bear with me. I don't normally do this, but I'm just intrigued because they often get you're often surprised, by the assessments of of something that you get for this. Bear with me. This we might get a little bit of stuttering here as my engine grabs lots and lots of resources, but I'll switch it off after. But oh no, he's giving. Oh wow, is that serious? Yeah, no, the engine is giving a clear advantage for white there. So engine clearly thinks that it's good. A number of possibilities suggested. Some of them obvious. And one of them amazing, which is B4. In actual fact, was one of the engine suggestions there, which makes sense when you see it. Actually, you're just going to play. You
have to take it back with the pawn.
You're just going to play. You're just going to play a Benko, basically. Black's given away a pawn on G7, so you're just playing a Benko. It's Mark.
Horsey chess and M. Hebden.
So what did Mark do? Mark took on B5 and went C6 actually, and just knight takes C6. Okay, just played it very quietly. So you clearly, Natasha,
he did do C6 in the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this has turned out. This has actually turned out quite nicely. Hasn't Mark got knight B4 here actually? Just attacking C2. I think he has.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this has turned out very nicely. I think that. Yeah. I guess what Zoe was worried about actually was if she went castles, then if she'd gone castles, then E4 was probably a little bit annoying, followed by knight D4. So that's why she went D3. But then the queen gets caught a little bit. Maybe queen C4 would have been possible. Just make sure that B5 isn't possible, because then if queen takes C6, that might have been. But I suppose black would have just gone rook C8. So queen A4, B5, queen H4. Yeah, and then I'd expect knight B4 here. I think attacking C2 and looking very good for black. So yeah, interesting system. Very interesting indeed. Twills against idle player. Oh, Oscar didn't grab the pawn. He went castle queenside. A4, H1, and FE. Interesting. Obviously we could just take back on E5. Could also take back with a knight, which isn't silly because the rook gets gets into the F file. A5 is quite interesting as well. The idea being knight A5. Oops. The idea being that after knight A5, well, two things actually. I could go knight takes E5 and establish my knight on that square. I could also play D takes E5 and then go B4. And of course, with this A file open, this is going to be pretty dangerous. If A5, yeah, you could go queen C7. That's the only thing. But then I could try, knight takes C5, because if we take like this, then I go bishop to F4, and the queen is very embarrassed, queen F6, bishop C7, for example. So, A5, yeah, a lot of decent moves. DE is reasonable. I like a5, I have to say. Yeah, and the knight takes e5 would also be quite interesting as well, quite similar to a5. But I think I'd probably play a5 and just give black some tricky problems there. Yeah, I don't know, Chestnut. No, we're just surprised, just to see the early draw offer. That's we just wondered whether we thought maybe you'd gone to school together or something like that, because that sometimes happens. But yeah,
I think you're different age. Are you a junior, Chestnut? I have a feeling I looked at that and you are. Is that right?
Oh, okay. So after knight g4, I was petrified by e4. But Ameet played knight e1, which is a little bit quieter, g6, and then f3. It's still dangerous, but 10 years older than. Okay, yeah. So f3 and then e4 is coming in, but this is not as bad. Not as bad as it could have been. So. Having said that, I do need to find a way to deal with e4. I think is that Ameet's idea? I mean, another idea is to go queen g2, threatening a discovered attack. But I mean, I think black goes king h7, and I mean things look risky, but I don't know. I can't actually see anything, clear or winning. So I would have thought that e4 would be the idea, but I'm not sure. How bad is this going to be? I mean, the tactics, they look. I mean, we could play a move like knight d4, then takes and go rook takes maybe. And here, all I need to do is to defend my bishop on e7. Maybe bishop d6. I mean, you can't take because you're pinned. Yeah. I think that's quite. This does not look too bad. I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I suppose what Ameet is going to do is do something like knight g2 here, and he's going to try and come out to h4, f4. It's a little bit slow, but that might be very dangerous. Can we do something better than knight f6? Can we play a move like knight e5? That might be reasonable as well. I mean, there's always the possibility of getting hit with f4, but then I'll come back here. Maybe I should come to e5 because at least I'm hitting these two, and I'm just restricting a bit what white can do. And if my knight has to retreat, then I can come back to f7 and then maybe try and hit with knight g5. It's a sort of yeah. I don't know. It's not so bad. It's not so well. It's not great, but it's not so bad. Come on, Rock Troll. It's Tristan Cox. He's in Vietnam, so this is about 3 o'clock in the morning for him. So
it's really more reasonable, today because we're playing in the afternoon.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe only midnight for him.
Exactly. Much better. Much better. So he'll be rested now. So it could be doubly dangerous. Oh, knight e3. That was a little bit calm.
You were wanting to sack on f7, right?
Well, no, we wanted the castle queen side. That was the one. But queen b4, queen d2 takes, and I think is white a little bit better here still. Probably. I mean, you're attacking g4, although not really, because d4 is hanging after knight takes, and bishop takes d4. But I suppose you do have a good chance to get in on the c file there. h5. Did Bogdan really need to do that? Because I think rook c1 is going to be quite. It's maybe going to be slightly dangerous.
It has been played.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, pardon me. This is still quite dangerous for black, actually. A little bit surprised with this h5 move. I would have thought you might try and develop somehow. So I think Bogdan is still in a little bit of trouble there. This is Peter Finn against Gregor Totsheck. Looks like a little edge for white. For black, I would have thought. He's going to have some weak queenside pawns, but going to be difficult to make something of it. White's very solid. Horsey chess. What did black play? Oh, Mark played rook c8. That's also pretty reasonable. I mean, that's also a strong move. Just looking to play knight d4. So that's a slight edge for black. Katarzyna against Jem Gurner. Yeah, white's playing very nicely. Typical moves here. Slight edge for white. I mean, you've just got the two bishops and a bit of space on the queen side. So probably aim, you'll improve your king side as well at some stage. Just do that, and then somewhere you're going to be looking for a breakthrough, probably on the queen side. Either go a5, and then after b5, you maneuver your pieces around and try and play c4, or you could try and play a move like b5 at some stage. That could also be possible. Bishop h6 actually, because it's also quite a useful move to play at times. Just restricting the king on g8. So looking quite good there. Whoa. Well, it must be said that Thomas is having a bit of a problem getting his attack going so far. So Julia's doing very well here, playing some good moves and nice control over the dark squares, but never write off hack attack. Thomas Villiers. Twills.
Have you seen Matthew Turner and Harry Grieve have drawn?
Oh, good lord. Okay. I hadn't seen that. They that went quickly. Okay, so that's quite nice for Michael. That gives him a bit of a draw in hand, basically. How is Michael doing? Oh, Michael played bishop c6, knight c3, bishop c6, and d4, and this is indeed one of the main, one of the engine's main lines here. So c takes d4. Okay. It still feels quite risky to me,
It better go queen takes.
Yeah, I don't know whether you could go knight e2, whether this would be possible, just to aim to take back with the pawn, the knight on d4. That's a possibility, I would have thought. So, I mean, if queen d4, let's have a look at that one. So, what am I going to do here? I'm going to play knight f5 straight away, I think, because if queen d5, then I've got queen c3. That's pretty good. Okay. So, well, then I could go, maybe I could go queen d3, and I'm ready to. Well, I don't know. I mean, I could always do something like takes, FG, maybe HG. Yeah. I'm not quite sure which one, but I just want to go bishop b. Bishop b5. There's queen f5 check. That's. Oh no, then I've got queen e6, and you're still going to be pinned like this somehow. Maybe I need to go. Maybe I need to go FG then. Yeah. Here and here, but still, how are you defending this guy?
Mm.
I mean, you could go there and rook f3, but it's not.
Yeah,
I've seen better, really. I mean, this knight's not great. We're going to have the c file. And I could, I don't know. I could maybe I could even no. Well, that's a possibility. I mean, what I could also do, I could take off. I should do it like this, actually. I just take off and come here. I'll do it like this. And then, now the only question that was intriguing there was whether you could play this move queen f5.
Because if you take on c3, you can take on f5.
That's right. That's why I was trying to avoid taking on f3 with a bishop earlier. But we can simply just go takes, and bishop g3, I've just noticed, and just pick up this knight on d5. So that's not any good. So I guess queen d3, that looks kind of natural, because for example, queen d2, I could just take and go bishop b4. So I go queen d3, and then I simply go takes, I don't know, takes there, and bishop e5, attacking the knight on c3.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
we don't have to go into this, right? Oh, because you were thinking trying to take on d4 with the knight instead.
yeah. I mean, I can go knight b5 here, but I've got moves like knight b5 is possible. So I'm obviously after takes there. I've got this fork on here, and I was kind of I was actually thinking I've got queen b6, defending and threatening rook g3 here, but then you do your queen f5 stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously, if I go queen e6 now, then I'm out of the pin, so I can go rook e1. So that's possible, but it feels a bit fraught, really. This. It does feel quite unlike Mickey, I have to say. But
yeah. Well, he hasn't that style. I played with him. You'll remember in the pro business a couple of years ago, and it was sort of very easy. He'd play these moves, so I wasn't going to make these moves that would be a huge mistake. It was quite straightforward to play, and we did quite well. We got 2 out of 3 in the end. We got consecutive wins against Nakamura and Caruana, so that must be my best results-wise chess playing day. Yeah, but his style was it was sort of quite smooth, you know.
He's played knight e2 in actual fact, so that's I suppose as expected, and going to recapture on d4 with a knight.
So black might take on f3, I guess. Oh, but then you could you wouldn't have to recap. Yes, you would. You would have to recapture. So you'd end up with double pawns, but maybe that doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. What can black actually achieve here? Yeah, I mean, I think after pardon me, f5, h1. Can't help it. King h1, not too bad. Knight f5, we go. Yeah, I mean, knight f5, we just go knight d4 here. So,
All right, h5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go knight d4 probably.
I will move the queen somewhere.
d7, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Then I go king h1.
Okay.
Well, I mean, actually, that's not really true because here I can just take off and go rook g3.
Ooh, yes. And then queen h3.
With at least a draw here. So, okay, well, that's true. Maybe what I should just do is just go king h1 immediately. I mean, I'm going to be able to capture this pawn anyway sometime.
All right, h4. Oh, you're just going to take it.
Well, no, I'm not going to take that one, but I'll take this one simply, I think. Well, maybe what I'll do, actually... Oh, no, is that true? I was going to say I could take here, but that would be a little bit risky, maybe.
Oh,
yeah, I simply take on there and then take this one. So that's good. But okay, I just go bishop d6 then.
Okay, recapture with the queen, please.
Yeah, and then either queen d4 or knight d4. Queen d4 feels more natural there. Just I mean, I'm hitting a7 and also can bring my queen around here to defend. Black's got some play here. I mean, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, knight c6.
6 to defend.
We go queen f4. Then I can do stuff like takes and knight d4. Maybe.
Yeah, that's all fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't necessarily want to take on c2 because I might get pinned.
No, you shouldn't do that. But as long as you don't lose your queen, then
Yeah.
you're doing all right. I don't know. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I think. I think Black's got quite a bit of play there, really. But okay. But anyway, we'll have a look how that goes. So Ameet Ghasi, Rock Troll. Whoa, what's happened here? Ah, yes. Okay. So knight g5 was met by d4. Takes. Knight f7, d5, bishop c5, king h1. So, yeah, our little issue here is obviously this long diagonal.
Oh yes, look at that bishop there.
And we've got another little problem because if we go rook e8, then White will probably play queen g2 with the threat of knight takes f5, which is obviously quite worrying. And obviously this one's attacked at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, knight d4 is possible, but you might just be able to go queen d3 or queen d1, for example. And this one is just hanging. So that is not nice. So maybe we just need to play knight e7. That's probably what we need to do. But this is quite...
So then we could come in with...
Well, I think knight d3 would be a very unpleasant move here. Threatening knight takes e5 and e7 is hanging. Also knight f4. This is very, very tricky, this. Yeah, I don't...
No, Tom.
Oh!
That's not bad. I thought you... okay, yes, against Julia. It wasn't... She had a reasonable position, didn't she?
Yeah, but Tom says he was going to hack, but he kept on losing his internet connection. So,
yes, no, but you don't have to hack every single day. You can hack when you feel like hacking.
we thought maybe you'd had a New Year's resolution and decided that you were going to not sacrifice any pieces for the rest of the year. So that was what we were wondering about. I saw that Harry Wills did indeed play a5, which was very interesting. Queen c7, d takes e5. He played it just like this: g5, a6, b6.
2 for Julia. Do you mean like 2 pawns up? She was. She shouldn't have given you the draw then.
Plus, I mean, plus 2 advantage for the opponent. That's when you just get started, isn't it, Tom? That's when that's when you that's the only moment where you start getting interested. That's this is quite an interesting one. This game as well. Actually, White should be looking to play b4 quite soon. I think just to start opening up that b file there. C4 is possible. It's a really interesting one, this one. Now let's have a look. How about Gunslinger against Fisher Fan? So Fisher Fan had played a very early h4 to h3, which I really liked. So Gunslinger's managed to get some sort of control, but I think Black should be aiming to go knight c6 and then probably get the king out of the way, rook over, and yeah, very unclear position. Still lots going on there. Wadsworth has taken off and played bishop c5. Interesting. I suppose, yeah. I mean, the idea is going to be to bring the queen over. Knight takes d4. You'll maybe bring the queen over here to f6. queen to f6, and then that'll give you h5 to h4. Yeah, this is also a very reasonable idea. Maybe I wonder whether we can do something like b4. That's the only, and then a4, something like this. This looks maybe a bit more attractive rather than just take the pawn, just go after the bishop and gain some space on the queen side. That might be quite interesting for.
I guess that pawn's not really running away anyway.
No,
So
that
you
makes.
can-
Katoma has a nice ending. She does indeed, doesn't she? That is a
4
very.
o'clock start. Guitar Man. Happy New
Yes,
Year.
Guitar Man. Yes, Guitar Man. On the naughty step. Mark has vacated it. So.
Well, I don't know why I read 4 o'clock as 4 a.m. I'm not quite sure why I read it like that. That must show something about the hours I've been keeping. 4 o'clock start. Yes, this stream was 4 o'clock. Don't worry, because there's another one straight after this. There's another one at 7. So plenty of streams today.
Yeah, and that's going to be bullet. So I mean, don't.
You need to look for that. Yeah, you'll go fast.
Declan Shafi, what's his username? Oh, he's all the numbers, isn't he?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me just get Declan, because he had the. Oh, it was Sean the Prawn, wasn't it? He was playing. Sean the Prawn 18. Ooh, my goodness, that's an exciting one. So Sean the Prawn, well, black in principle doing quite well here. I mean, we could just take off and take on b2, and the king is quite open there. So yeah, this is quite difficult. I mean, probably. I mean, we could also go bishop c4. That would also be, because that white king is pretty short of squares. So I think bishop c4 would also be quite strong here, and then just followed by rook d8. But takes and bishop b2 is pretty sensible as well. Yeah, this looks pretty good for black there. Have a look how Jude Shirsby is getting on. We've got well, let's have a look. Black is a pawn down. Played rook e4, so I guess rook a7 is going to be. And the problem is if I go, so I'm attacking f4, and if I go bishop c4, get my analysis board window. I think it's pretty clear that that's one command I won't be doing during the bullet is bringing up an analysis window, because by the time you've done this, then the game was already finished, I think.
Bogdan looks like he improved his position somewhat.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have a look at that. Rook a7, bishop c4. We go f3, and if rook there, we just go g3, and this one's lost. So looking quite difficult for Jude there. B unit. Whoa. Do you say he'd improved his position?
Well, I thought I might have not got that right. He's changed his position anyway.
He's changed his position. Yeah, no, you might be right. I mean, it's all a bit it's got a bit messy. In actual fact, black can go bishop d7 here. Bishop d7, and then what is white doing about his knight on f7? Because if we go knight e5, there is actually knight e4 check. King e2, and we could go bishop e5, although bishop e4, bishop b5 check. Whoa. And that is quite annoying. So, well, it could be that that white has got his pieces in a bit of a tangle there.
Knight g5, is that possible?
Yeah, that would be better. It's just, it feels, that knight's not very safe, actually. I go bishop h6.
Yeah.
And I'm actually
Then
a
we'd
bit
have
concerned,
to.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit concerned. It could well be that, well, maybe after bishop d7, yeah. What is he actually doing? Actually, this is looking quite awkward. I suppose what you could do, you could go knight e5, knight e4 check. You could go king e1.
Yeah.
Oh no, but wait a minute. I'm being completely stupid here because I'm also attacking this rook on c7 when I do that. So yeah, no guitar man. I know what you mean. It's I mean, the thing that really depresses me, when I play it is, I get to these situations where I've got 10 seconds against 4 with a better position, and I end up losing, and the guy's still got a couple of seconds on the clock. I just can't play those quick moves at the end physically, and that's or mentally. I'm not quite sure which comes first. So it's. That's the thing that really gets me about the bullet. I do find it great fun. I mean, it is nice. You don't think too much. And Mickey going downhill.
Check that.
Walsman, you're stirring things up there.
Grabbing messages.
So Queen D2. That feels a little bit slow to me. Queen D2. Something like Queen F6. I mean, the idea of Queen D2 is, why it wants to, why it's, I suppose, looking for Queen F4. It's that sort of thing. But it doesn't feel like a very, punchy move, really. If you see what I mean, it feels like Mickey's trying to equalize here. Actually, is what you feel a little bit. Whereas I think he should be, fighting for the initiative somehow. I mean, H5 is not so stupid. Queen F6 not so stupid. Yeah, interesting. My goodness, it's just a thing where Mickey's decision in the opening was quite unlike him, and this is quite sharp. Have a quick look at Rock Troll. Noble Knight's come to A5. Ameet's looking to play Queen C3 now. That's that king side is pretty open, really. It's I'm afraid I don't think Rock Troll's going to be surviving for much longer in this one, unless there's something absolutely stunning. He could do a Tom Villiers though.
Right, let me find the Tom Villiers. Do the Tom Villiers. Do you mean we want to open up the long diagonal if we're doing a Tom Villiers? So we might have to go knight c4 and bishop d5.
Exactly. That's the doing the Tom Villiers.
Did I get that right?
Exactly. Yes. Yes, that's right. I would be very disappointed if you hadn't got that one right. But it's just a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I could go something like rook c5, takes check, and then queen c3, for example. And well, he's doing a Tom Villiers back to us, I'm afraid. So yeah, I think this one's going to be very, very difficult to hold, I'm afraid. Oh, 98, 98 from Bogdan. I'm sure that's not right. I'm sure bishop d7 was good. But Bogdan seems to be liquidating to a fairly equal position now. We'll go rook c8, I reckon. Why doesn't it let me do that? Rook takes c8, and after king f7, it's well, it's sort of. I think is white a little bit better? Probably white's a little bit better, but it should be holdable for black. So this one, a pretty even position here. White's got control of here, but black's very, very solid. So that should be quite even. Horse chess.
Yeah.
Doing a Tom Villiers, exactly. Open that diagonal. And if you can choose between sacrificing a bishop or a queen, sacrifice the queen.
The queen every time.
Exactly. So Zoe probably going to play bishop d2, I guess.
Yeah.
Then Heb's just got to decide what he wants to do here. I mean, f5 is also starting to get quite interesting for black. And knight b4, still, I mean, attacking the c2 pawn, I think is also very is also quite a strong idea. You know, knight b4 in the next move. So yeah, looking good for black. Now Katerina's got her nice edge here. Looking to play around to b3. Why not? You can play around forever. Some stage f4 will come in. I think we might certainly might try a little h5 just to put pressure on the king side there. Bishop c4 played by Declan. g4 from Sean, opening up some lines there, and also making sure that if black goes bishop f6, you can chase it away with g5. But it is, you know, getting quite difficult for black. Maybe e6 is sensible, for example. That would be quite easy. Yeah, I mean, black's looking very, very good there. Yeah, so b4 has been played. Oh, bishop b5 was played. Interesting. Would be my first reaction, but swapping off the light squared bishops, so consolidating that one, and then just playing b4. Ooh, c4. That's very committal.
Is this Oscar Idle? I can't quite see the name.
That's right, yeah. Yes, Oscar Idle, yeah.
He did a C4, didn't he, in one of his other games?
Sorry?
Am I remembering right? Did he do a C4 in one of his other games? I might not be right.
Not sure. So this is quite pleasant for white in principle, although I suppose what Oscar's aiming for, keeping the queen side close, and he's going to go for bishop g6 to e4. So that could be quite interesting. I mean, I could, with white, play knight d4, and then after queen d7, play something like queen c2, and just stop the bishop from coming out there for the moment. Ah, no, but wait a minute, then I've got bishop e5, and if rook e5, there's rook here. So that's not possible. I could just play queen c2 maybe first of all. I think that might be a good idea, you know, just to stop the bishop coming to g6 easily. And then, okay, maybe black's got to organize it, but then in the meantime, you know, maybe I don't know, not yet, but, you know, I play b5 and bishop a3 and get myself organized like that. I think something like that would be a good move. Just to stop that. So I think queen c2 would be a good move there. f3 was played straight away. That's a very strange move, actually. Why wouldn't you just play rook a7 straight away and attack this pawn? But anyway, f3 has been played, so I'm guessing Jude will go rook e7, probably just to cover the 7th rank. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, sorry, c4 is actually going to trap the bishop. That's the idea. So, yeah, that's even stronger than winning the pawn in f7. So, yeah, I missed that. Oops. Chess Queen 960 against Chris Finn. Well, Chess Queen 960 is doing very, very well here because rook a4 will leave her 3 pawns up. So there could be. Oh no, sorry, Chris is white. Chris is white. Sorry, Chris. Indeed, hack attack. Sorry, I'm not completely awake this afternoon. C4 does trap the bishop. You're absolutely right. Sorry, Chris is white in this position, so he looks like he's
down.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. So okay, well that's looking very good for white there.
Yes. So Bogdan drew.
Bogdan drew. Okay, that's not surprising. Okay. And now h5 has come in from Matthew Wadsworth.
Yes.
And Mickey, I really don't think Mickey's happy with this position because he's playing quite slowly, and you know, spending quite a bit of time, you know, and I think you yeah, I don't think he's happy with his position. But this is not the sort of position that he'd normally take on.
I've seen him get out of worse positions than this, though.
Oh, good Lord, of course. That's it's all relative, of course. But in terms of, you'd expect him to be just smoothly putting pressure on Matthew. And he's just gone for something very sharp. Something that I might do. Because I certainly when I was younger, I used to calculate these lines and just say, okay, I can get away with it, and do it. But Mickey was always, very smooth and just avoiding all these problems and just, playing the positional way. So but I think King H1 is probably something very sensible to do.
Yeah, that was my guess. I guessed it.
And we have to see what's going to be done there. I mean, Queen F6 is natural, threatening H4, and I guess that White's going to play Queen F4, threatening mate on C7. So I would take knight takes, which is why I was a little bit nervous about playing H5, because obviously this knight now attacks that pawn. But maybe you can actually just ignore it and do something clever. Not sure. Let's have a look. H5, King H1. Or are we just going to go? Are we going to go full Tom Villiers mode and just go H4?
Maybe.
I've seen Tom do crazier things.
Yeah.
H8.
Oh, I see. If you're Tom, you want to open that diagonal, so you could go D3 and then D4, and you've got that diagonal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of that other than through Tom Villiers.
Interesting. That's also possible. It's a bit speculative, maybe, but also interesting. I'm just trying to think of. We could also play a move like Knight G6. Actually, that's not stupid. Because Knight D4, I go Queen F6, and obviously hitting this one. Yeah, Knight G6 simply, and I'm just going H4. Oh, this could be quite awkward, actually. Yeah, I really think Mickey's playing way too. I think Mickey's playing too slowly. Simply, you should have started sacking stuff, opening up the queen side. So this is going to be a bit of a fraught one, I think. Mickey's played King H1 there. Mickey's played King H1. So I'm thinking Knight G6 now is a good move. We're going to see. Ameet is.
Mickey offered a draw.
Mickey offered a draw. Well, I tell you, Mickey doesn't do that.
That puts the pressure on, though, because you don't want to turn a draw down against Mickey, do you? If you're then not going to at least draw it.
Depends how confident. It's a well-timed offer, I think. Depends how confident Matthew's feeling about Knight G6. I think it's conceivably it's quite a big edge, I think. But I will understand all. I will understand all choices. So, but that's quite a well-timed draw offer from Mickey, I think. He's using a lot of time. I think he's obviously not happy with his position. Mm-hmm. Often it's just it's one of those things you just have to do. You offer a draw, you get it out of your system. If they accept, fine. If they don't, then you're sort of okay. It's but that's interesting. Very interesting there. So, what's happened here? Big knight on E6. But this white king is not. Queen A5 he played. Okay. I wonder, actually. I do wonder whether Queen C8 might have been. Because I think the white king is going to get into a bit of danger here, swapping off the queens. But of course, this E4 pawn is going to be weak. So interesting. It's just in principle, I'm not so thrilled about about having my my knight move away from this lovely square. You know, maybe king g3 or something. So I would have preferred queen c8 and just keep the queens on and then come in with knight d4 at some stage. I think black's doing quite well actually. It looks a bit ugly, but I mean this white king is appalling here, and the white queen is out of the way. So I think queen a5 feels wrong to me. Well spotted, Walsman. Thank you. That was a good spot. It's a very interesting game, this one. Whoa! We are going the Tom Villiers. Exactly. And look, it's not a bad one actually. I think, yeah, indeed. We're going to go bishop d5, and we're hitting this and this. We're getting 3 pawns for our piece.
Yeah. Because if rook f4,
we'll go rook e3, I think. This is not what you want with white. No, it's not what you want. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what happens when I do something like this? If you go bishop g2, then...
Oh, he hasn't taken.
Oh, has he done something else?
Yeah. He's gone queen f6.
Ooh. Oh, is he just making, actually?
G6, yes.
I'm getting carried away.
Yes.
Oh, I so wanted that. I so wanted this to work. But, yeah, this is completely winning for white, of course. Yeah. Nothing to be done. Queen g6 checkmate is coming. Yeah, that's hard luck, rock troll. I have a checkmate lot against Welsh Tiger. This is a pretty even, I think. Oh well, actually, come to think of it, white is actually going to be 2 pawns up. This is not even. This is just looks winning for white in actual fact. So queen b8, I'll have. Yeah, I mean this is just queen e5. I mean the pin. This is huge for white. So it looks like checkmate lot is winning against Welsh Tiger. Mark finally did go knight db4, rook c1, and I'm sort of expecting knight d4 really, just piling in on that c2 square. That would be a pretty good idea, I think. Should be a bit better for black. Katoma, very nice technique. This nice and slow. Bring the king up to f3 later, and just gradually, you know, getting more and more room basically. And black's finding it. Black doesn't really know what he can do. Ooh, that's a bit risky indeed. Might not be might be a decent. Oh, actually, come to think of it, is this black's idea? Maybe white's been a little bit precipitate actually. You could go gf f5, and if ef5, bishop takes h4, you're going to be getting rid of some pawns. Ooh, yeah, that's well spotted. That's well spotted from black. And bishop f4, we go bishop d6. So, I think white's been a bit incautious there. Oh, I was yeah, I think a move like king g2, a slightly slower approach would have been better there, because that might. So Matthew Wadsworth thinking.
Yes.
What does he do? What does
thinking about the straw upper, I expect.
Indeed. Gunslinger against. So pawn on a3 now. Yeah, this has got quite murky, because white's also got an extra file on the b file for his rook. So pretty murky now. The problem with knight d4, I think, is you could even go knight d8 in this position. Oops. Go knight d4. You can even go knight d8 in this position. You're actually forking these two guys.
Oh yeah.
And I'm wondering, yeah, I'm really wondering whether you've got enough counterplay here. Because rook here, I just go king there. So you could go rook h7. That's the. Oh, that would actually be a draw. That at the very least. So
it takes on b7. You can check Yeah, just keep checking along.
Yeah, but I think after rook h. Oh yeah, no, you can do this. You can go rook h2 then. But maybe we go. That's not so easy. Maybe king f1. Maybe. Check. King g2. Couldn't be. Or rook g1. Rook g1 maybe. I don't know. It looks a bit awkward. This. Yeah, a bit of a shame, really. That could have been a really nice thing. He's gone rook h2, so White's got a little bit of a difficult decision there about where to put the rook. I think you see something early, which is probably quite a good idea. Better than the move I was looking at. Well, Matthew Wadsworth has carried on.
He's turned down the draw against Michael Adams.
He's played knight g6 now. Mickey's done some good.
Well, good on him. Whichever way it goes, it's good for the crowd, and it shows he's confident in his position. Yeah,
Mickey's done some good business there, at least, because he's played a quick move. You know, that's the important thing.
Yeah, so he'll make up the clock, and I think probably it will make Woodsy more nervous as well. I'm sure. So. Yeah.
Somebody was asking whether
play your knight g6.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And Mickey's played this quick move, queen g5.
Yeah.
So h4. How about h4?
The idea can't be that you then take h4, can it?
Well, I think you have to, more or less.
Okay. Take h4.
I mean, bishop e7 would be great at work. Sorry?
Would f6 help then for black?
Well, we've always got queen f5 checks, so and then we could retreat back to g3. So I don't think h4, bishop h4. Would we have something interesting there? I mean, what I was thinking of was going something like queen e6. The idea is that I'm hitting this knight on e2, and I'm covering this diagonal. So I'm actually threatening bishop e7 now, winning a piece.
Yeah.
But you can actually play knight f4 here. You could play knight f4 here, which doesn't seem fair, really, but...
yeah, it does control all the squares where I want to put the queen.
But I take, I go bishop d6.
Yeah.
You go queen takes d4, I guess.
Yeah.
Queen f6 is also possible. Queen h3, bishop g3. But there I could just take off and go rook takes.
Yeah.
It's not winning. It's not winning, though. Oh, wait a minute. Could I even go... I can go rook takes g3. Takes. That is winning.
Mm-hmm.
So... you probably have to come here, but okay, you come there. I go queen h3. You go bishop g3, only move. Now, unfortunately, any trick like this would allow queen g4 check. That's clear. And bishop g3 takes, rook f2. No, I can go rook f3, but I don't suppose I'm winning there. And you know, White can take on a7 or stuff. But what I was wondering about there was to go the play rook h8. I go queen g4. That's stupid. I was hoping rook h8 would. Okay, so queen e6, knight f4, takes, bishop d6. and we're saying queen takes d4 there. Okay, change. Bishop b5, just got queen c5. Ooh, this is so close.
You sort of
This really is
want
close.
to take on h2 with the bishop, but I don't suppose stop all these bishop g3 things.
It's possible. It's just yeah, we're a bit slow. We're a bit slow somehow. I was looking at going rook h8, bishop g3 takes, and queen e2, but you got rook f2, of course. Yeah, as what's he's played h4.
Nice, good.
I mean that's it played quite quickly, reasonably quickly as well. Bishop takes. Nicky's played it very quickly. Yeah, now it's getting crucial.
So we were expecting bishop dropping back, were we, to d6?
No, queen e6 was what I was looking at so far.
And then,
Knight f4 and then knight f4, and I haven't been able to make it work yet. Queen e6, knight f4. Knight f4 takes bishop d6. Rook h8, just go bishop g3. Here. Queen h3, bishop g3. Yeah, no, I don't have another think about it.
rook
Where
e8.
yeah, I think it's not stopping these queen f5s. That's the problem. So I can go knight f4, and I still don't have my bishop e7 because of queen f5. So I'm just wondering a little bit. I mean, it's really dangerous. I mean, I can go rook e5 maybe. Oh, actually, rook e5 is quite awkward.
Rook e5.
Because queen g4, I've got f5. Winning, I'm not sure. That's the problem. But rook e8 is quite awkward. So we've got rook e8, queen e6. We've got I mean, rook h8, you'll probably just go queen f5 check, I think. Just so that's not what you're looking for.
Yeah.
See whether what's he still thinking here. Come on, Matthew. Queen 5. B7. Oh, dear me. Frustrating this.
Ameet has won.
Ameet has won, okay.
It was looking very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at taking something like queen g6, but I mean, it's obviously total suicide, this, so you can't do anything like that. I mean, this also looks like it could be really strong. I mean, all these pieces are so tied up there. But this
He has played queen e6.
He's played queen e6. Okay, what's he? Let's hope you've seen a little bit further than I have, because knight f4 is I think the way to do it. And I don't know. I don't actually know what white can do, or black can do rather. dear me. Dear me, dear me, dear me. Knight f4. Takes. Looks so natural, this. You should have.
Oh, hi, Oscar. Did that go? How did that go? Awful blunder.
Oh.
No, sorry to hear that.
Oh, no. Oh. Yeah.
How was it without the blunder?
It was probably still quite unclear, I think. I think we can go king d8. Even maybe king d8 here, although I'm not sure. Maybe bishop b6 check is winning. Need to play rook f8 before bishop takes e5. Yeah, that would have been a better idea indeed. Ah, hard luck, Oscar. Hard luck. It was a really interesting game, and very sharp theoretical line. It's got very popular for white recently. So
okay, it's gone knight f4, queen f4.
Okay, yeah, this is going through the line we've looked at, but I was getting stuck on it. I wasn't actually able to find. Bishop needs to go. Oh, no, Wadsy, you're doing exactly what I said. So, but I think queen d4 is. I didn't see this for black here.
Queen d4. And then what was it? Queen h3.
Yeah, I mean, could I go? Yeah, I was saying queen h3, bishop g3. That was the.
Yeah,
and I didn't think this was going to be better for black. So, I mean, I guess I go rook f2 here. Maybe I go rook f3. But I think that white will be doing fine here, at the very least. So I could go queen f5, I suppose. Oh, that might be nicer. Queen f5. That is a better move.
Threatening to come in on the diagonal. Tom Villiers style.
Not clear though. I could go queen c3 check, protect king b8. Something like rook g1. Well, it's remarkably solid. Yeah, Mickey's played queen d4 very, very quickly as well. Well, come on, Matthew. This is where you need something, because I haven't found anything decisive here. I haven't found anything decisive here, and I don't know. I don't really know what we can do. I mean, I could play bishop e5 here, just to chase the queen away. You go queen c5. You go queen c5. And bishop d8, then obviously queen h3 is always winning, this sort of idea. So
It's gone queen f5.
Okay, it's gone queen f5. Okay, but I think now that we go queen d3 is vaguely possible. The queen c3 check looks more natural, and then you go king b8. And then I'm guessing rook g1. And yeah, and I'm not sure at all. There's a lot of pieces hanging here. I mean, could even go bishop e5 or something, but d8 is hanging too, so all very unclear.
You might wish he would have accepted the draw at this point.
Well, that's always the danger. That's also why, of course, why you offer it, to make your opponent, to put the extra psychological pressure on your opponent, but I suppose after check, I could go king d7, actually. That's not stupid. After check, I go king d7. That's maybe better. Not in a dark square, at least. What is my threat here? Again, that's well, I suppose I've got rook c8 as an idea. Rook c8 takes c2. I've also got bishop e5. Maybe something like queen h3. But rook g1 seems like the most obvious all the time. And then what? In queen h3, we just get bishop g3 here. I mean, rook to h8 is fun, but then we go rook g2, and then the fun's over. I can go bishop e5. That's possible. I'll go queen b4. Got all these sorts of threats. I know, of course, bishop. You can't go queen b4 because I've got the queen f3. Don't be stupid. So I've got to. But what if I went queen d3? Actually, I suppose I could go here and take there. But even this isn't so bad for white. I mean, you've got the two bishops and the opponent's king is a bit open, so not really that not that clear really. You do also have a move like queen d3, hoping for bishop a1. Oh no, but okay, bishop d8 that would not work because I've got rook g1 and king takes d8. So maybe bishop e5 is possible here. That many moves, so I can play queen e5, queen e5, and then I go just bishop a1. Or even that rook h8. No, bishop a1, rook to a1, rook to e8. Yeah, I don't know. Still pretty dangerous. Still pretty dangerous. Queen c3 has been played by Mickey, and now I think that king d7 is best because the problem with putting the king on b8 is that if I put the king on b8, I'm always getting hit with sort of tricks along that diagonal. So I think king d7 is better on a light square and away from anything annoying. And obviously,
it's not an obvious move, but now you say it, that makes sense.
And then if you go bishop d8, I've just got this move queen h3, which does really work. I think threatening queen h2 and queen g2. You can't parry both. So I think after that, if Wadsworth finds king d7, then it's I think it's. Then I think you're not going to be unhappy about the refusing the draw offer there, because I think what can white do here? Oh, he's gone king b8. Now I'm a bit worried about it, I have to say, because also in so many of these lines, you want to if the bishop takes on d8, then with the king on d7 you take on d8, and now you're not going to be able to take it back, so there's all sorts of stuff like this. Oh, bishop g3 from Mickey. That is a slightly strange move, because we can just actually take it and take on g3 after.
We take and get a draw.
Well, no, it's not a draw because Mickey's not going to take twice, but that would probably be a win, wouldn't it, actually? But that's an odd one. I thought he'd just go rook g1, actually. I might be missing something. I might be miscalculating. That's always possible. Okay, so rook g3.
So we take now with the bishop. Bishop takes G3.
Yeah, bishop G3 and then takes here. And I guess rook F2 from white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just thinking actually, I could also go rook C8, but then go queen D3. I think.
First, is that we thought about that before, didn't we? Another time.
Sorry, what?
As in rook takes bishop before.
Yeah, but we'll just take it back then.
Yeah. Rook takes bishop and then bishop takes, but then we're not threatening mate straight away, so it's not the same.
Yeah, it's a rather slower this version. It's possible. The problem is I'm also covering H8 with the queen, so you don't get your rook to H8 either quickly. So I would have thought we'd have time to do a rook D1 or something and protect ourselves. This looks normal-ish, but well, I think white's a pawn up here. So
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is looks like Mickey's going to be a little bit better. Oh, let me see. Let me think. So Chris Fink beat Aurora Tashika. Jude Shirsby lost that position indeed. We heard about Oscar. Sean the Prawn lost to Declan Shafi. That was kind of on the cards. Katoma
Good now.
is now Bishop versus Knight. Heads just won. Oh my goodness! Oh, indeed, that was pretty convincing. Queen coming into C2 there. Yeah, now we've got a checkmate lot against Welsh Tiger. Yeah, I mean, obviously, any chances they're whites. So have to see though whether these can be converted. Obviously, opposite color bishops always makes it a little bit more tricky, and I don't think that white can. Well, actually, I'm saying that. Can white exchange off? We're going to have two passed pawns. I mean, the key thing with these positions always with opposite color bishops. The key thing with these positions is can you create passed pawns on both sides of the board? And in principle, you can. And they're quite far apart as well. I mean, I'd be very tempted to play to do a move like this and just have this, and I can create a passed pawn on both sides of the board. I don't know. I don't know whether that's. It sounds like it should be very, very promising, but I'm not at all sure. Oh, he's done it actually. Peter's done that. I mean, I can also just go bishop c3 and d4, and I mean that could also just be black goes f5, or I could just go. I could try g4 as well, simply. Yeah. And if f5, I go g5. Even taking is conceivable, just because I've got these far apart pawns. This might now intuitively, I think this is probably winning for white, but we'll have to see.
Gunslinger is in trouble against Fisherfan.
Oh, good lord! Yeah, this has been a wild game, and of course, Fisherfan made us very, very happy by playing a rook's pawn march all the way down, right in the opening, Alpha Zero style. And indeed, white is in a bit of trouble here. I think that if we can just simply take on here, actually, that would be the simplest. And then swap off the rooks, and then just pick off these pawns somehow. Because you're not going to be able to protect all of them. For example, I will go takes, rook a6 takes, knight c6, and then knight e7 takes f5. Oh, queen h5, rook g2. I think Mickey's going to be consolidating this one. I'm wondering, actually, because we're going to be back at 6:50 this evening.
Take a little break.
Maybe what we're going to do is to have a little bit of a break here, and then afterwards we'll come back and pick up the bullet.
Yeah,
it's looking like Michael Adams now is 2 pawns up against Matthew Wadsworth, so looking somewhat difficult for Black there.
Yeah.
But should we say we'll take a break and we'll be back at 6?
6 o'clock. Yeah, not 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock.
Yeah, 6:50 then to take a look at the bullet tournament.
Excellent. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you for watching.